Lynyrd Skynyrd is an American rock band best known for popularizing the Southern hard rock genre during the 1970s. Originally formed in 1964 as My Backyard in Jacksonville, Florida, the band used various names such as the Noble 5 and 1%, before coming up with Lynyrd Skynyrd in 1969. The band rose to worldwide recognition on the basis of its live performances and signature tunes, Sweet Home Alabama, and Free Bird. At the peak of their success, 3 members died in an airplane crash in 1977, putting an abrupt end to the band's most popular incarnation. The surviving band members reformed in 1987 for a reunion tour with lead vocalist Ronnie Van Zant, the younger brother of lead singer and founder Ronnie Van Zant. The reformed band continues to tour and record with co-founding member Gary Rossington and core members Ronnie Van Zant, along with guitarist Ricky Medlick, who recorded with the band for a short time in the early 1970s. Drummer Michael Cartellone has recorded and toured with the band since 1999. Lynyrd Skynyrd was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on March 13, 2006. On October 20, 1977, just 3 days after the release of Street Survivors, Lynyrd Skynyrd's chartered Convair CV-240 ran out of fuel near the end of their flight from Greenville, South Carolina, where they had just performed at the Greenville Memorial Auditorium, and were en route to LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Though the pilots attempted an emergency landing on a small airstrip, the plane crashed in a forest near Gillsburg, Mississippi. Lead singer Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist-vocalist Steve Gaines, backing vocalist Cassie Gaines, Steve's older sister, assistant road manager Dean Kilpatrick, pilot Walter McCreary, and co-pilot William Gray all died on impact. Medical personnel arrived quickly and began to ferry out the injured and the dead. Victims were taken to the hospital in nearby Macomb and Jackson by ambulances and other vehicles. Guitarist Alan Collins suffered 2 cracked vertebrae in his neck, and both Collins and bassist Leon Wilkeson nearly had arms amputated as a result of crash injuries. Wilkeson suffered severe internal injuries, including a punctured lung, and had most of his teeth knocked out. Guitarist Gary Rossington broke both of his arms, his right leg and his pelvis in the crash, as well as sustaining puncture wounds to his stomach and liver, and took many months to recuperate. Backing vocalist Leslie Hawkins sustained a concussion which led to ongoing neurological problems, broke her neck in 3 places and had severe facial lacerations.
Road crew member Steve Lawler suffered severe contusions and facial lacerations. Security manager Gene Odom was seriously burned on his arm and face and lost the sight in one eye as a result of an emergency flare on board the plane that was activated during the crash. Keyboardist Billy Powell's nose was nearly torn off as he suffered severe facial lacerations, as well as deep lacerations to his right knee, and he later caused a controversy by giving a lurid account of Cassie Gaines' final moments on a VH1 Behind the Music special about the band, claiming that the backup singer's throat was cut from ear to ear and that she bled to death in his arms. Powell also claimed that Ronnie Van Zant's head had been smashed. Powell's version of events has been disputed by both Artemis Pyle, who later claimed to have been shot despite no factual evidence, and Judy Van Zant Jenis, remarried, who posted the autopsy reports on the band's website in early 1998 in order to set the record straight, while essentially confirming Powell's account. Powell was castigated in print by Pyle and Van Zant Jenis for needlessly upsetting the Gaines family. Nevertheless, Powell remained on good terms with the remaining band members. Drummer Artemis Pyle, the only band member who was ambulatory, crawled out of a plane wreckage with several broken ribs and hiked some distance from the crash site through swampy woods with road crew members Kenneth Pedden Jr. and Mark Frank. The 3 injured men finally flagged down farmer Johnny Mote, who had come to investigate. Varying accounts have Mote either firing a warning shot into the air, believing the bedraggled men to be escapees from a nearby penitentiary, or actually, according to Pyle, shooting Pyle in the shoulder. No report is completely reliable. Pyle claimed in a February 2007 appearance on Howard Stern's Sirius radio program that Mote had shot him. Mote has always denied shooting the drummer. In 1996, Pyle called Mote to thank him for his help after the plane crash. Notably, the third member of the Honkettes, JoJo Billingsley, was not on the plane and in fact was homesick. She had been planning to join the tour in Little Rock, Arkansas, on October 23. Billingsley claimed that she had dreamed of the plane crash and begged Alan Collins by telephone not to continue using the Convair.
The Convair CV-240 itself had been inspected by members of Aerosmith's flight crew for possible use in the early summer of 1977, but was rejected because it was felt that neither the plane nor the crew were up to standards. Aerosmith's Assistant Chief of Flight Operations Zunk Bucher tells of seeing pilots McCreary and Gray trading a bottle of Jack Daniels back and forth while he and his father were inspecting the plane. Aerosmith's touring family was also relieved because the band, specifically Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, had been trying to pressure their management into renting that specific plane. Powell, among others, spoke of seeing flames shooting out of the right engine on a trip just prior to the accident. Cassie Gaines was reportedly so fearful of flying in the Convair that she offered to ride in the band's equipment truck instead. Ronnie Van Zant had talked her onto the airplane on October 20. Pyle maintains in the Howard Stern interview that the fuel gauge in the older model plane malfunctioned and the pilots had failed to manually check the tanks before taking off. In his book Lynyrd Skynyrd, Remembering the Freebirds of Southern Rock, Gene Odom makes an unsubstantiated accusation that co-pilot William Gray was impaired because he had spent part of the previous night snorting cocaine. The toxicology reports from both pilots' autopsies had found them to be clean for drugs and alcohol. After the accident, the NTSB removed, inspected, and tested the right engine's magnetos and found it to be operating normally, concluding, no mechanical or electrical discrepancies were found during the examination of the right magneto. The inspection also found that all of the fuel cross-feed and fuel dump valves were in the closed position.